Hello, students. Today we're going to talk about figurative language. We're going to start by reviewing some different types of figurative language, and then I'm going to read a story and ask you to pick out some figurative language in that story. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. The first type of figurative language that we're going to review is similes. Similes are a comparison using the word like or as. In this example, they're comparing a girl to the sun. So this girl has blue eyes, she's blonde, and she has a bright smile. The sun is round, yellow, and bright. So we're going to use those matching words to create a simile. Her smile is as bright as the sun. So it's comparing the girl, or her smile specifically, to the sun, using the word as. And then her smile is bright like the sun. So again, comparing her smile using the word like. A metaphor is comparing two things again, but it's saying one thing is the other. So you'll notice that it does not have the word like or as. The apple is a little green sun, bright and round. Apples are nature's candy. So they're not like nature's candy, they are. So that's what makes that a metaphor. The next one is hyperbole. Hyperbole is an over-exaggeration. It's an unrealistic exaggeration that couldn't be real. Here's some examples. His brain is the size of a pea. Well, that wouldn't make any sense. I have told you 1,000,000 times that's not a lie. So you didn't probably actually say it 1,000,000 times, just a few more times than you wanted to. And the last one we're going to talk about is personification. Personification is a type of figurative language that gives human characteristics to non-human things. So here's some examples. The clumsy turtle enjoys the sun. So turtles can't actually be clumsy, and they can't actually enjoy things. Death robbed her of the chance at happiness. So death can't actually be robbed. You can hear the trees whisper in the dark. Trees can't actually whisper. And the stars danced in the midnight sky. So now we are going to read a story, and in it you will find 4 similes, 3 metaphors, 3 3 hyperbole, and 4 personification. So I'm going to read through the story. I'll also share my screen so that you can see what I'm saying. And if at any time after I read through it, you might want to pause the video, look back in the story, and find all of the examples of figurative language before I tell you what they are. So if you need to pause the video to grab a piece of paper to write them down, please do so. Okay, so we're going to read The Great Spaghetti Incident. So keep your ears and eyes peeled for that figurative language. It was a Tuesday, the kind of Tuesday that slouched into the week like a teenager who'd just been asked to clean their room. Harold, a man whose cooking skills were as sharp as a butter knife, decided it was finally time to conquer the beast known as homemade spaghetti. Armed with nothing but a YouTube tutorial, a pot the size of a small bathtub, and the misguided confidence of someone who once burned water, Harold marched into the kitchen like a gladiator entering the arena. First came the noodles. He dumped the entire box into the pot with the grace of a walrus on roller skates. Boiling water hissed like an angry cat, and a noodle flopped over the edge like it was trying to escape. Then came the sauce. He poured tomatoes into the pan, added garlic like he was warding off a vampire apocalypse, and dumped in oregano with the precision of a sneeze. The sauce bubbled like it was plotting something, occasionally blurping with like a swamp monster clearing its throat. Looking good, Harold said, stirring with a wooden spoon that looked more nervous than useful. Then the spaghetti happened. As he tried to drain the noodles, the colander slipped, and spaghetti flew through the air like a flock of slippery eels. One heroic strand wrapped itself around Harold's glasses, clinging for dear life. Another launched itself onto the ceiling, where it stayed, dangling like a tiny, meaty stalactite. Harold stared in silence. The kitchen looked like a crime scene in an Italian restaurant. The sauce had painted the walls in abstract red splatters, and noodles lay everywhere like exhausted party streamers. His cat, Mr. Whiskers, wandered in, took one look, and walked out with the judgmental glare of someone who expected better. The dinner was ruined. But Harold was proud. He'd gone to culinary war and lived to tell the tale. Barely. Next time, he said, peeling spaghetti off his forehead, I'm ordering pizza. So this story about the Great Spaghetti Incident has a ton of figurative language in it. So go ahead and pause the video here and write down what you find. I'm going to share the figurative language that was in this story. So the first, I said there was at least 4 similes. So Tuesday slouched into the week like a teenager who'd just been asked to clean their room. So that compares Tuesday with a sulky teenager. And then there's poured the entire box into the pot with the grace of a walrus on roller skates. So it's comparing his clumsiness to a walrus on roller skates, which would be very clumsy. And then another one is spaghetti flew through the air like a flock of slippery eels. So he's comparing the spaghetti to slippery eels. Noodles lay everywhere like exhausted party streamers. So comparing noodles to party streamers using the word like or as. So now we're going to go on to metaphors, which will compare 2 different things without using the word like or as. Conquer the beast known as homemade spaghetti is comparing that spaghetti is a monster to defeat or a beast. The sauce bubbled like it was plotting something. So saying that the sauce is like some type of scheming character. The kitchen looked like a crime scene in an Italian restaurant. So it's saying that the kitchen is like a crime scene. Then we have hyperbole, over exaggeration. Garlic like he was warding off a vampire apocalypse. So it's an extreme exaggeration saying he used so much garlic. A pot the size of a small bathtub. Obviously, the pot isn't quite that big. And then with the misguided confidence of someone who'd once burned water. So that's an exaggeration. Obviously, he didn't burn the water. Then we have personification. So the boiling water hissed like a cat. The sauce blurping like a swamp monster clearing its throat. So comparing this, or saying that the sauce was clearing its throat. It's not something that sauce can do. A wooden spoon that looked more nervous than useful. So spoons can't actually feel nervous. Mr. Whiskers walked out again with a judgmental glare of someone who expected better. So cats can't really pass judgment. So I would love for you to look for figurative language in everything that you read this summer.